Hello, Cliff here, and I'm in my shed. Sometimes in my shed I make coin rings, and if you've never seen a coin ring, I'll give you a close up and show you what one is. So the intriguing thing about a coin ring, this one's been made from an half crown, is that you've got the coin on the outside and you've got the coin on the inside. So, how's it done? That's the intriguing bit. Well, it's not that hard really. Basically what you do is get a coin, punch an hole through the middle of it and sort of turn it inside out. So that's all you wanted to know about coin ring making. You know it now. You don't have to watch anymore, but if you're a bit more interested in the details and how it's done, I'll be showing you in the little series. I think there's going to end up being about 4 videos on this, so I want to keep them reasonably short. I'll show you how it's done and show you how I've made I'll show you some of the tools that I've made to make coin rings. So this is how to make a coin ring part 4. And I'm sorry about this one, it's a bit long, but I couldn't really condense it. So this is a little tool I made ages ago for doing this. Basically it's just a little stepped cone and coins fit on it, and then obviously as they get smaller they come down the cone. And I'll use that for this demonstration. You only have a problem with this when it goes down inside the cone. And this is absolutely flat with the cone at the moment, which is a bit of a nuisance, but this little stepped cone works for this. You can get Delrin push rods, or you can just make little plastic push rods. Little plastic chopping boards are good. You can just cut circles out of them, different sizes to do this, or you can buy the Delrin, the proper ones for it. But for now I'm just going to try and do this on the cheap. You can, I can't remember where I've put them. Hang on. You can use the folding cones for this. I mean, they're basically, it's obviously the same thing like that. You can use that just the same. It sticks out a bit. You get something on the top of that, take it to your press and press it down. The only difference between these is the steepness of the curve and how much of a barrel you get on the ring. I'm going to use these 10mm ones, these 10-degree ones, sorry. We'll go over to the press and I'll show you what I'm going to do. I'll show you how we turn a big ring into a little ring. Alright, so I'm back at my hydraulic press. The tool I've made, I just showed you. So the coin's in the 10-degree and we get that nice and flat. I mean, actually the press will flatten it to a point. Get it reasonably level. And squash it down till it won't go anymore. Don't want to squash it down too much and risk damaging the thing. And now we'll do it again the other side. This might be a bit too tall now to go into here. So and again I'm going to squash it down into the thing. Again, you want to make sure that this is flat in the cone. Typically it looks like it's just midway between two steps. Right, so now I've pushed it down that far, the actual arbor will fit on it. I've turned the cone over, I'm using the other side of it now, so it's actually sticking out, which makes it a lot easier. Make sure I've turned my jack off. Way it come down now. Pretty much perfectly the size of the it's certainly not going in there flat, is it? That's that. Now I'm going to take that all the way down there, trying not to twist it. I'm slightly knocked out at the moment. So I hope you can see from over there that we're gradually closing this ring down, and that's got a pretty good barrel. Let me get in closer. Maybe one more squeeze on this side, and then it'll be even. Oh, I always forget to do that back up. I mean, when you're doing this, it's just trial and error. Do a little bit, take it out, have a look at it until you get the sort of desired effect you're looking, and that's a little bit better. Right, so I'll bring that up and hopefully the camera will focus on it. You can see it's got a reasonably even curve on it. Now, that's the sort of barrel I normally aim at, because when you have got it on your finger, I'm going to have to open this up a bit to fit that finger if it was for that finger I was doing. It's less obtrusive on your actual fingers, but I'll do the same thing again, but with the 17.5 degree folding cones, to show you the difference in the actual barrel. So that's the 10 degree. Opened it up a bit Now basically I can get it on that finger. Not that there's any point to that, I'm just showing you how to do it really. But what I'm going to do now is do exactly the same but with a 17 degree, one of the folding codes you use in the first place to fold it. Just to show you the difference in the barreling. So you want to get that very level or as level as you can in there again. Like I say, it will tend to flatten itself out a bit when the ram gets on it. I'm just going to squash that down in there till the ram gets down to pretty much where the cone is. Now I want to do the other side. So turn it round. Squash him down. And again, it's a case of do a bit, take it out, have a look at it. Oh. Right. Didn't do me nut up on the press. I'll remember to do that up this time. So there you go. A little bit more. There's a little bit more of a squeeze to even it up. May have been too much. No, I think that's alright. So hopefully you can see that there's a bit more of a pronounced barrel on that one, which probably looks better. It looks better, but it can be, obviously it's not going to fill my finger now because I've made it a little bit smaller. But again, it's very hard to show you on the camera, but where this has now been folded and shaped, the milling edge on there is sort of proud again on the inside. Now we can take that off again with a Dremel or a file and it will make a difference to the size of the ring. Let me just move the camera and I'll put it on the ring gauge. So we are getting to the finishing stages of this now, I promise. So if I put that on there, that's just about an R. Turn it around, put the milled edge down, it's a whole size smaller a cue. So I'll pop over to my Dremel, whip that off, and I'll show you the difference in the size by just taking a bit more off of the milled, what's left of the milled edge in there. Right, my battery went. I had to go and get my lead. I sort of forgot where I am. Anyway, so I've taken the milling edge off of that. I hope you can see that. You can see the shiny on the inside. I also cleaned up the other edge a little bit, but I haven't finished with that yet, so I just took a little bit off of the inside. And the difference that would make is, I can't remember where it was before now, but if we take it down the unmilled edge side, it would appear to be an S.5, and on the milled side, the true size of it, it's about just over R.5, which is fine. I mean, but that's just the way this particular ring has turned out. We haven't really sized it. So if I want to make it fit this finger of mine, I've got to make it bigger. So get back on the stretcher. And now it's getting very stiff. So I'm going to anneal it again. Right, I've annealed it again. I'm going to stick it back on the stretcher. No, that's much better. Obviously you can't feel that, but with this ring stretcher I can see the sizes, although they're numbered sizes, they haven't got the sort of English sizes on them. And a little bit more. Tiny bit. Well, it's very nearly there, but it's getting a bit stiff again, so I'm going to anneal it yet again. Okay, back again. It's amazing the difference annealing it makes, how much easier it makes it. Right, now that's obviously if you were doing this for a customer you'd be using your ring gauge to size it. But I'm losing a bit of the barrel in here, so I'm going to make this about a size or so too big for me. Well, bigger than the size I want. Because if you look at that, if this focuses well enough, you can see we've completely lost the barreling. Now to close that barreling back down again, that just wouldn't fit. So I've got to make this bigger and then reshape it. One of the reasons I never go full stretch with this. Makes it very hard to pull it back. Right, so you can see there that the shape of it is, it's okay this side, but it wants to come down a bit on the milled side, which is usual. I think I'm probably about there. I'll probably be able to get enough of that out, because I am just over about a Z, my fat finger. So it's about a Z and a half. I'm going to pull it out a little tiny bit more, and then and the other side. Right, and now I'm going to take it back do exactly as I did before to barrel it again. So here it is. I just took it back to the ring stretcher and to the folding cone. What you're trying to achieve is a reasonably easy, even curve on the ring. Obviously how much you want it curved depends on the angle of the cone. Like a 10-degree one is slightly less than this. This is this was finished in the 17-degree cone. And that's it. You'll just find it's a bit of backwards and forwards between stretching it, barreling it. You might go too far, stretch it again, barrel it. As long as you keep a kneel in it, as long as you keep it reasonably soft, you can work it for quite a while. So next thing I'm going to do is just clean this edge up, and that's simply rubbing it on some sandpaper on a flat surface. So I've just got a bit of 320 here, and if that will focus for long enough, it's just a bit rough. The edge that was punched, there's not much point doing too much about it until this stage, because you now want to get it flat. So it's just a case of rubbing it on a flat surface. So you've got a nice flat edge. And I'll just finish that off on a bit of 1200 paper. Just a couple of wipes. Then a little wipe round the inside with a 1200, just to take off any burrs that might be there. Just feeling it with my finger. You just don't want a sharp edge anywhere. Okay. Right, so now we've got a dirty brown ring where it's been fired up. It's got plenty of fire stain on it. What I normally do, I put it in some pickle. You can get that from Cooks and Gold online. You get it in a little bag, it comes in crystal form. I'll just get the jar and show you it. Basically you mix a little bit up, it comes out like that. And I'll put it in a saucepan of water on a little burner in me thing. Get this warm, leave it in there for 10 minutes, half hour, an hour, however long it takes. So I'm going to be doing that now. I need to warm this up, so I'll turn the camera off. And then I'll just be dropping it in there, cooking it for a bit. And then I'll show you that when it's done. Right, so this is the ring out of the pickle jar. It gets most of the fire stain and crap off it. What I'm going to do now is give it a good buff up on the buff, both inside and out, and I'll show you it then. I don't lose it. So this is the finished ring, polished up on the buff. But of course it doesn't have to end there. There's plenty of other finishes and that you can put onto one. This is a really little tiny shilling ring I did, because I mean the lettering gets slightly bigger on the outside, but when you do get to look at one properly, you can see the lettering on the inside gets small, very, very defined. And this is another sort of ring, coin ring I make. This doesn't have the lettering on the inside because this has to be done on a lathe. You make a silver band, turn a bit out of the middle to fit the ring, make the ring and the band very close fitting, push the coin bit over, stretch it a little tiny bit on your coin ring, on your ring stretcher, and you get a coin coin ring that spins. I've no idea if these are focusing or not. Yeah, so the actual coin bit spins on the band. But that's the one we made today, and it's finished. As far as that one's going to be finished. I hope you've enjoyed watching this. I've quite enjoyed making it, going over things you almost forgot about. There is someone who bought a couple of tools off me quite recently. He's got a YouTube channel. It's called Oracle's Cave. He's just starting out. He goes over the tools and things like unboxing and making rings for the first time. It's a bit difficult when you know how to do something to present a sort of beginner's guide to it, because I'm sure I've taken for granted some things that you might know, you might not, and glossed over them, and you probably are none the wiser about anything. I don't know what I'm saying really. Yeah, it's quite difficult sometimes to make a video or teach someone how to do something that you've been doing for a long time, and that's why Oracle's Cave would probably be a good place for you to go and have a look at if you're thinking of starting a coin ring hobby or business or whatever you want to do with it. But it's certainly worth looking up. It's called Oracle's Cave, and if you search it on YouTube you'll find it, and then you'll find his coin ring tools, his coin ring videos. Okay, well that's all for now. Like I say, there are plenty of other finishes you can apply to these, and if there is any interest in this video, I might do some more on some of the finishes I do. Well, thanks for watching. I'd love it if you commented and subscribed and give us a thumbs up, and I'll see you again soon. Bye. So this is the finished ring, polished up on the buff. But of course it doesn't have to end there. There's plenty of other finishes and that you can put onto one. I've quite enjoyed making it, going over things you almost forgot about. There is someone who bought a couple of tools off me quite recently. He's got a YouTube channel. It's called Oracle's Cave. He's just starting out. He goes over the tools and things like unboxing and making rings for the first time. Yeah, it's quite difficult sometimes to make a video or teach someone how to do something that you've been doing for a long time, and that's why Oracle's Cave would probably be a good place for you to go and have a look at if you're thinking of starting a coin ring hobby or business or whatever you want to do with it. But it's certainly worth looking up. It's called Oracle's Cave, and if you search it on YouTube, his coin ring videos. Okay, well that's all for now. Like I say, there are plenty of other finishes you can apply to these, and if there is any interest in this video, I might do some more on some of the finishes I do. Well, thanks for watching. I'd love it if you commented and subscribed and give us a thumbs up, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.